And we are back for another episode of USATF's Journey to Gold podcast, live from Glasgow24 World Indoor Championships. We have the shot put extraordinaire in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Crouser, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. A little tired today, but feeling good.
A little tired, man. I saw you in the warm-up area doing 60 block starts against Christian Coleman, lifting the whole squat rack off. I think bolts broke from the ground from the squat rack. It's unbelievable. Shot puts flying across the 1500 race. What's going on, man? How's it feel?
Yeah, we were busy yesterday.
Y'all got real busy.
Yeah. So no, it was good. It was a fun comp. I mean, for me, it was a bit of a change up just because I'm used to training by myself. The biggest thing I noticed was just how slow international comps run. And I mean, for people that haven't been there, it's very different than American meets or training. Just the tempo is really slow. So it took a bit of an adjustment, and I knew that. So I want to be really warm well ahead of time and then kind of maintain that. And because I knew I'm going to need like 4 active hours pretty much for a comp like that.
Now, you approached this a little different as far as the warm-up is concerned. Logistically, you had a little bit of a challenge ahead of you. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a struggle just since we've been over here. Haven't had – I don't want to say the facilities that you'd hope for, but
you can say the facilities.
We've been thrown into nets. Just is the easiest way to say it. Yeah, we've only had nets to throw in. So the best analogy I can have is like you get in the net and everything feels good. Yeah. Like you never have bad throwing sessions in the net. It's like it goes 10 feet in front of you and everything is like, oh, that's a great throw. That's a great throw. So you don't really get that feedback. And so it's great if you're working on technical cues because you kind of build confidence. You get those reps in, and they are quality reps, but you're not seeing that shot go. You're not getting that feedback of how far is the ball going. And so I don't want to say a false sense of confidence because I've thrown for long enough to know that things aren't as good as I thought they were. So I warmed up into the net. Things felt good. And so a big part of it, usually at any major, you have a warm-up facility that you throw at outside the stadium because inside the stadium is so limited to help the flow of the meet, make it more spectator friendly, all of that. And so, but we didn't have it. No circle was provided. So we were Ubering across Glasgow yesterday. Left like 4 hours before the competition to go to a practice venue that was separate. And so, we were racking up the Uber bill yesterday.
I'm sure. I've never heard you complain or seen you, frustrated or flustered. But yesterday when I saw you starting a little 4-hour journey, that 4-hour head start, you looked like,
Yeah, it was just one of those days where it's like, man, anytime you're leaving the hotel 4 hours before a comp and you're like packing your bag with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and like a gallon of water, it's like, man, this is
straight survival mode.
Yeah, this is not optimal for throwing really far.
Yeah. Despite the challenges FaZe Wallace just dropped his iPhone. I hope the screen cracks since you our session right there. We can edit that part out.
Damn.
Nah, I'm joking. No, but despite the challenges you faced, obviously, you won, man. I mean, first world indoor title. Was it like finally? Is it a relief or it's just like, oh, whatever. I came here to win a championship. I won a championship. Everybody can stop talking about it.
Yeah, I thought there'd be a little bit more of a sense of relief maybe than like what there actually was. And I mean, in your head, I feel like you always build it up as like there'll be this defining moment after the meet of like I accomplished this or I did this and everything's going to be different. Yeah. And you think at this point I would know that it's really not that different. Yeah. So walking away from it though, I'm very happy because it's more so than like adding a new accolade. It's more of checking a box to see where I'm at going into the Olympics. That's the main goal for the whole season is. I mean, it's every 4 years. And so every track and field athlete, like the peak is the Olympics. Right. That's what everything is focused on. So I wouldn't do world indoors if I didn't think it would help me. But that sense of urgency, that knowing like I got to be ready for a meet and it's a major early in the year, I feel like helps me. Some guys like to just have these giant blocks of training. But I need a block of training, but it needs to have a sense of urgency of I got to have something to prep for that's not 6 or 9 months away.
Yeah, you want it to be 6 or 12 weeks away.
Exactly. Yeah. And that feeling of like, man, I don't know if I'm quite ready, like a little bit of self-doubt creeping in, I think is good because it motivates me instead of like, oh, I've got 9 months. Like things are going pretty good, but like 9 months is a lot of time instead of like, shoot, I got 6 weeks and I'm going to throw against the best in the world. Like I got to make this work, and kind of it brings a sense of urgency, a little bit of stress to each practice.
I got a question for you. I say, how many times? Let me ask some preamble. So, question for you: how many times have you broke the world record?
Oh, it's hard to say because everything gets so complicated with now. It's short track shot put. Is that still a thing?
I don't even. Yeah,
Short track still invented. We still in short track?
Short track, long track, indoor, outdoor track, whatever you. Yeah, I got you.
Short track shot put. So I've broken it outdoors twice, and indoors, I guess you'd say once.
And then, so how many medals do you have as well?
At what? One at World Indoors.
This is your first one at World Indoors. I mean, my bad. Hey,
Damn,
man,
Wallace.
we almost saw how fast Ryan Crouser was.
Everybody get out of here.
So, international competition, Olympics, World Championships, indoors or out, how many medals do you have?
Yeah, so two Olympics, 2 world champs, 2 Olympic gold, 2 world champs gold, world champs silver, world indoor champs gold, and a world indoor champ silver. So got a few of them.
All right, so what keeps you going? Because I feel like after a while, I don't see you lose very much. I'm just going to be honest. Like, do you get bored winning, or do you find new challenges?
I don't want to say it's not about winning for me, but I mean, that's not really what motivates me. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't control what the other guys do. Yeah. All I can do is control what I'm doing. And I mean, the beautiful thing about track and field is it's so easy to measure yourself. Like, if you go out there and get a PR, that's the best you've ever been. And like, there's so few things in life that you can say I'm the best I've ever been. And you're constantly trying to improve in all aspects of your life, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And if you can have one defining thing that is without a doubt better today than it's ever been, like, that's such a special feeling. And unfortunately, as you get better, it becomes more and more difficult to achieve that feeling.
Absolutely.
And so and I feel like I'm at the point in my career now where I want it even more, because I'm like, later in my career, you have those feelings of self-doubt creeping in, like, man, am I ever going to get a PR again? Mm-hmm. And that's like, when you start thinking like that, it gets really easy not to get one. But when you kind of have those thoughts of like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get a PR again, like, I don't know if it's there, and then you overcome that and do it, it's like you beat yourself twice. Like, I'm the best I've ever been, and I proved myself wrong.
And you just said two things. So you used the words my career, and you said late in. So can we hope to see you in 28? And then the second part of the question will be, like, what other goals have you set for yourself that you want to accomplish before you leave the sport?
Yeah, so no one's ever won 3 Olympic gold, so that in the shot. So that's like top of the list. With it being the Olympic year, I got to put that up at the very most urgent thing on my list of things to do. But I would love to stay in the sport through 28. I think for me, it'd be kind of a defining end to my career, doing an Olympics on American soil. That'd be my 4th one, hopefully. And so that's the goal, is I want to keep going through 2028. It'll take a little bit of a pivot. I have to kind of adjust. At some point in my career, I have to realize that I'm no longer trying to throw a PR. It's kind of like, how long can I stay in the sport? Yeah. And like, Reese Hoffa was fantastic. He's like the greatest of all time at that. He dedicated his career to throwing as far consistently as long as he could. So might have to give him a call and ask him what the secrets are.
Go to Athens, man. Go to Athens. You might have to wear shorts all the time. That might be Reese.
Skateboard. He probably skateboards again. Man, that dude was crazy.
Man, I saw Reese long jump like 333 or something like that. Standing long jump, like 333. I was like, yo. Speaking of jumping, we hear you can windmill 360 between the legs. Shelby said he saw you go from the free throw line backwards, all type of stuff, man. I said, I didn't know Ryan was a monster of Space Jam, man. What you got going on, man? What's up, man? So I hear you get on the basketball court a little bit, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know about all of that.
Yeah, I just totally made up.
I'm a 2-footed jumper.
Mm. Okay. I've seen you windmill off 2 feet. There's a video of you doing it at I think Drake's dunk contest.
I did the dunk contest, and they sabotaged me because they wouldn't let me dunk a shot. I was going to dunk a shot at the.
Where was it going to land?
Well, I was going to use an indoor shot, so it won't mess up the floor.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I can dunk a shot pretty easy. I can also do some, like, I would say, like, trick dunk or like dunk contest type of dunks. Like, windmilling the shot's tough because it's so dang heavy and it has to travel a long ways. But like cock back behind the head, 2-hand.
You got all
shot.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you got to stop dunking with the
This
shot,
is
man.
huge.
It's ridiculous, man. You dunking with a shot now. We want to make it to 2028. I don't want you out here. I thought you were using the basketball, man, and volleyball or something. But well, that's great. Talk to us a little bit about the training. You talked about, obviously how you like to approach your career as it relates to longevity. And I know you're a huge fan of the weight room, huge fan of training. I noticed that you offer subscriptions on your social media for training. Just talk to us a little bit about that. The weight room is a big enjoyment of yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a key component. I mean, of any athlete, especially in the strength throwing events like shot, spend a lot of time in the weight room. So yeah, I mean, I share a lot of that journey on my social, on the subscriber side, a fair amount just on regular Instagram, and started up the YouTube's back going again, so that's been good. But yeah, I mean, for me, being self-coached in the weight room, I mean, I write all my own programming as well as writing for other athletes. So a lot of people don't realize I'm the member of or a volunteer throws coach at University of Arkansas. So I write all the strength training there, University of Arkansas.
Cool.
Wallace knows.
Wallace is always happy when we bring it back to the Razorback.
What happens more times than none. So I'm just saying we're doing something right.
That's true. That's true.
I'll give
So
him my
I
spot.
did not actually know that you were writing the throws.
Yeah, so right in the training program there, and I mean, yeah, it's a key component, and I like it. It can almost be addictive in the point that you have to back off in the weight room because it's so easy to see success.
Yeah.
It's a direct correlation to how much work you put in. I mean, track and field, I'd say any event, like you have the technical aspect as well as the work component, and so it can be frustrating because you put in the work and it might not show up right away. Like all the pieces are there, and in track you got to put them together. In the weight room, you really don't have to do that. Like if you work hard and push the envelope, you're going to get stronger.
Yeah.
And so it lends itself to almost putting too much energy into the weight room because, like, if I hit the bench hard for a 6-week block and hit my primary lifts hard, do the auxiliary, the posterior work, like I'm gonna hit a bench PR in 6 weeks. You can almost guarantee it. I wish throwing or anything in track and field was like that.
Yeah.
So
do you work off charts, or do you? I mean, 3x6, 5x5, 6x3. What do you got going?
yeah, so it varies a ton throughout the year. I mean, it kind of. I used to, when I was younger, follow like the classic periodization, like you're doing 10s and then you're doing 8s and then 6s. Now I kind of follow like an oscillating wave periodization. So it has a general trend, but you might be doing 8s in the fall and drop to 3s and then go back to 6s and then to 2s, to add a little more variation and kind of let the training complement each aspect. And so you can't really train like volume,
Right.
but you can hit volume hard for 3 weeks and then drop and do some CNS high intensity stuff and let that volume component recover while still stimulating a different aspect of what you're trying to train in the weight room. So that oscillating model works really well for that.
So since we're talking about this, and I say I've been firsthand witness to how strong you are, but just so the people can know, if you don't mind sharing, max on a bench,
Max bench 250K, so 550 pounds.
squat,
Damn.
Squat 725.
snatch.
Snatch is one of my better lifts. So power snatch 160K, so 352.
Yeah, he had every one of my PRs above his head one day when I walked in the weight room. I couldn't take my eyes off him.
550 on bench is my squat.
Dude, I walked in, I was like, hey, you cool, but I just came to watch you lift. If you don't mind, don't mind me. And I think I watched 30 or 45 minutes of him lifting, and it was ridiculous.
No, he does. He just comes and hangs out in the weight room and watches.
I don't lift myself,
He
but I
sits
just
in the corner.
You need to jump in there.
No, you trying to kill me.
Get you some muscles. So, you said the YouTube is back. A little birdie told me, aka your dad, social media was turning into a little bit of work for you. You took a little break, a little hiatus, a little bit for a second, as it relates to the subscription. Is that true?
Yeah, so I kind of go through, I don't want to say phases, but I get frustrated at times with social media a little bit. And I feel like I have a habit of like valuing my self-worth too much based on social media.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that athletes do based on their performance. Like you have to find to differentiate your sense of self from your athletic performance or like how the social media is doing. And I mean, at the end of the day, like don't want to talk down on social media, but there's athletes that are willing to like sell their souls for the brain rot and produce that content that the algorithm loves, and I don't want to be one of those. Right. And so I feel like in staying true to myself, it doesn't lend itself to my social media performing as well as it could, and as some athletes I see it doing. And I feel like I was at odds with that, of not feeling like I was devaluing myself in terms of my performance on social media by staying true to myself. So that instead of just like having that be a downward spiral, I was like, man, I just need to step away from this, because it's not a healthy place that it's put me in. And so I feel like I've kind of just taken the time and like coming back to it. Like, I'm committed to myself. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm gonna post what I want to post. I'm gonna film for YouTube what I want to film. Like, if the algorithm likes it, if people like it, great. If they don't, like, I'm gonna be happy making the content I want to make. And if they don't like it, like, I don't care.
Yeah, I like your content shifts. I mean, you go from weight room to the fishing channel to it's all over, man. And I definitely enjoy it. Are you going to? I know you usually have a celebratory fishing trip.
Yeah, I don't have like anything big planned. That's the one tough thing about season, is you can't do like those big fishing trips. But I'm gonna go home. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take the boat out. It's starting to warm up. Water's starting to get a little warmer, so I'm gonna be fishing this week for sure, though.
And before we finish, I would say this. I feel like there's a few athletes in our sport that transcend the actual sport of track and field, and I think you're one of those. Some others might be, Usain Bolt, Sha'Carri, Christian Warholm, etc. But how do you feel like your dominance compares to the rest of those athletes?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. It's tough to say. I mean, the events are so different, and every athlete's approach is so different, of like whether they're motivated by their trying to be better and push their PR, or they just want to win. And so it's so tough to compare across events. And like, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to go out there, do the best I can do. If people want to throw my name out there with the other greats in the sport, that's great. It's not the reason that I'm doing it. So I'm honored to be on that list, but I don't want to feel like I'm upset because y'all aren't putting me at the top of that list, or whatever it might be.
This might be similar to how every time I've gone to any sort of team meeting and they nominate you for team captain, you usually would do what? You accept or decline, tell them to keep moving?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get out of the team meetings quick. Like, they always say it's going to be an hour, and it never is under an hour. So, I'm trying to get out of those team meetings. But no, that for me, that's like the greatest honor. If you can be nominated to be team captain or Team USA, a nomination by your peers, especially members of Team USA being your peers, that's a special feeling. So, no, it's an honor for me. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to like politic to get that nomination, or be like, hey guys, vote for me. It's like, if you want me to be your team captain, I'm honored to do that, but I don't want to have to commit you to nominate me.
All right, so Paris is a big fashion city, as we know. We got the trials in Eugene first. Oregon native, you are, University of Texas. Will the mullet make a comeback?
I mean, it kind of does right now.
You kind of going mullet right now.
Yeah.
But will we be full mullet in Paris, or are you just gonna go back to the man bun?
You got to tell us right now too, so we can start growing ours. So we can all match.
Yeah. Oh, if y'all are growing mullets,
I ain't growing up with that mullet. You forget it. Wallace can grow a mullet.
I guess the mullet's out then.
Nah, not for you. Mullet's good. The mullet is your look for sure.
The cowboy
I can't go.
No,
mullet.
I gotta convince. So it's funny because like, I feel like in general guys like it, and the women not so much. Like, there's a few girls that are like, yeah, it looks good, but like most of them now, like Megan, my girlfriend, she's like, it's between the beard or the mullet. She's like, I like the beard more than the mullet, and because she really hates the mullet. My mom doesn't like the mullet either. So.
Oh yeah, we won't see it come
and
back.
And she stays close. I think she's here as well.
She is. So I'm fighting to keep the mullet, but it's a losing battle.
Well, listen, what isn't a losing battle is your shot put competitions. As we know, man, we wish you continued success, and we definitely look forward to seeing you on the circuit in Eugene at the trials and in Paris, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we hope to have you back on.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you for joining us.